Your house doesn't smell bad by chance. Your house smells bad because of mistakes you repeat every day without realizing it. And the worst part is that even if you clean, even if you use air fresheners, even if you kill yourself scrubbing, the bad smell comes back. It stays there, stuck, as if your house were breathing fatigue, confinement, and neglect. Today I'm going to tell you the 10 mistakes that ruin your home's smell and, most importantly, how to avoid them easily. But get ready, because the first 3 are going to hurt. Because they're the ones we most often make, those of us who truly want to have a clean house but end up not understanding why it doesn't smell clean. Let's admit it, nothing makes you angrier than cleaning for a whole day and someone comes in and says, "What's that odd smell?" You feel like all your effort was useless. It frustrates you because you know that you clean, that you tidy up, that you do what you can, but the atmosphere doesn't change. You feel that your house smells like confinement, like dampness, like old food, and that makes you feel bad about yourself. You feel uncomfortable receiving visitors, you're embarrassed to open the door, and you ask yourself in silence, could it be that my house smells bad and I've already gotten used to it? Yes, it has happened to all of us. And that thought hurts. But today that ends. Because I'm going to teach you how to eliminate those mistakes that ruin your home smell, without spending money, without weird chemicals, without impossible tricks. Only with logic, with attention to detail, and with those small habits that make the difference between a house that smells like life and one that smells like abandonment. So get ready, because after watching this video, you will never smell your house the same way again. First mistake, storing damp clothes or poorly dried towels. This mistake is the #1 enemy of a fresh smell. Few things can stink up a house as much as a damp towel hanging up or clothes that didn't fully dry and get put away anyway. That smell of confinement, of mold, of old clothes, starts with a single poorly dried garment. And the worst part is that it spreads. Your closet absorbs it, your sheets too, and then your entire house smells like dampness. And there you are, looking for the smell, spraying air freshener, opening windows without understanding that the cause is inside your wardrobe. Solution: never put away clothes that are not completely dry. Not almost dry, not just a little damp. Dry them in the sun, hang towels fully extended, and if you can't dry them outside, use a hairdryer on the corners or hang them in front of a fan. That smell disappears when you eliminate the moisture before it settles. Second mistake, leaving the trash inside for too long. It doesn't matter if it's a little or if a bit more still fits. If the trash is inside, your house smells like trash. Even if you don't notice it, that smell of a mixture of peels, food scraps, and dampness clings to the curtains, to the furniture, to everything. And the worst part is that later it's not enough to just take the bag out. The smell stays in the bin, in the lid, on the floor around it. Solution: take out the trash every day, even if it's not full. Wash the bin at least twice a week with hot water and vinegar, and let it dry in the sun. If the smell persists, put a slice of lemon or a bit of baking soda at the bottom. The secret lies in eliminating the source of the smell before the house absorbs it. Third mistake, using air fresheners to cover the smell instead of eliminating it. This mistake hurts, because we all fall into it. We believe that if it smells like flowers, the house is clean. But no. What you're doing is mixing the smell of confinement with an artificial smell, and that results in an aroma of weird mixture, which fools no one. Your house doesn't need to smell like perfume, it needs to smell clean, like fresh air, like natural. Solution: stop buying aerosols and start by ventilating. Open the windows every day, even if it's just 10 minutes. Use baking soda in the corners, place vinegar in a glass near where the air stagnates, boil orange peels or cinnamon in water. These are natural smells that clean the air, they don't disguise it. True clean smell doesn't cost money. Fourth mistake, not cleaning the drains and traps. Yes, that strange smell you don't know where it comes from, may be coming from the sink or the bathroom. Grease, soap, and residues accumulate in the drains that, over time, generate an unpleasant odor, even if there's no visible dirt. Solution: once a week, pour hot water with vinegar down the drains. Then add a tablespoon of baking soda and let it act. You not only eliminate the bad smell, you also prevent that sticky film from forming that ends up stinking up everything. Fifth mistake, storing food in the refrigerator without covering it or without checking it. There's nothing worse than opening the fridge and smelling a strange odor that you can't identify. An old onion, a forgotten piece of bread, a rotten fruit at the back, and your entire refrigerator smells bad. That smell mixes with the air and comes out every time you open it, contaminating the environment. Solution: clean the fridge every week. Check what you have, throw away what's questionable, and store everything in closed containers. Place half a lemon with cloves or a small glass with baking soda to absorb odors. Your kitchen will smell much better without you even realizing it. Sixth mistake: curtains and cushions that you never wash. They are the great forgotten ones. They absorb smoke, grease, perfume, sweat, dust, and over time, they start to smell old. It's a smell you can't identify, but it's there, especially when you come in after having been out. Solution: wash the curtains every 2 months, and vacuum the cushions or wash them if possible. Use vinegar instead of fabric softener. It neutralizes odors and leaves a natural aroma. A clean sofa completely changes a home's smell. Seventh mistake: not cleaning the filters of the vacuum cleaner, the air conditioner, or the extractor. If those filters are dirty, all the air that passes through there gets contaminated. Your house can smell like old dust, even if you clean daily. Solution: clean the filters once a month. Wash them with water and soap, let them dry completely, and put them back. If you don't, every time you turn on the air or vacuum, you're spreading bad smell throughout the house. Eighth mistake: having too many things. Yes, clutter also smells. Not literally, but a house full of things accumulates dust, traps the air, and doesn't let fresh aromas circulate. That smell of old stuff is often just air trapped between objects that no one moves. Solution: clear things out. Fewer things, less dust, more air. Store what you use and let go of what you don't. You can't have a house that smells good if it's saturated with useless things. The ninth mistake, ignoring the shoes and the entrance of the house, is one of the trickiest, because very few people realize that there, right in that small space where you cross the door, the true origin of the bad smell may be. It's not the kitchen, it's not the bathroom, it's not the trash. It's the entrance. That place you step on every day without thinking, which seems harmless, but which accumulates the trace of everything that comes from the street: dust, dampness, sweat, mud, and yes, also the smell of shoes. Shoes are true sponges of smell. They walk through dirty, damp places, full of bacteria, and then you leave them inside the house enclosed, sometimes in a piece of furniture without ventilation or in a corner where the air doesn't circulate. The result? That smell of shut-in feet, of damp leather, of wet fabric that gradually mixes with the air of the environment. And the worst part is that you no longer notice it, because your nose gets used to it. But visitors do. As soon as they enter, they feel it. It's that dense, mixed smell that gives the sensation of dirt even if everything is tidy. Sometimes the problem isn't the shoes themselves, but the floor of the entrance, the one you never clean with the same attention as the rest of the house. Think about everything that floor steps on: rain, dirt, dry leaves, fallen food, grease from the street, fine dust. Every day an invisible layer builds up that, with humidity, starts to generate odor. And since it's usually the least ventilated area, a corner, without windows, or a rug that is never lifted, the bad smell gets trapped. And if you have pets, the problem multiplies. They also come and go with damp paws, leaving that aroma that mixes with dust and shoes. In a short time, that little corner becomes a point of olfactory contamination without you noticing. That's why the solution isn't only in cleaning, it's in changing the habit. Start by checking where you leave your shoes. If you keep them in a closed piece of furniture, make sure it has ventilation. If you use a fabric shoe rack, put little bags of baking soda or activated charcoal inside. Baking soda absorbs smell and moisture, and charcoal neutralizes the air. They're the most powerful natural deodorizers that exist. If you prefer a home trick, place a piece of plain soap or a small sachet with coffee beans inside the shoe cabinet. The result is impressive. But most importantly, never store damp shoes or freshly used shoes without airing them first. When you get home, leave them in a ventilated space for a few hours. If you notice that they're damp inside, put a bit of baking soda in them or stuff them with absorbent paper to remove moisture. If you use them daily, give them a break, alternate pairs so they have time to dry completely. And don't forget the insoles. Many times the smell doesn't come from the shoe, but from the inner insole. Change them or wash them at least once a month. If they're fabric, you can wash them with vinegar and baking soda, let them dry in the sun, and the smell will disappear. If they're leather, clean them with a damp cloth and leave them in the open air, never inside the closet. Another forgotten part is the entrance rug. Most people leave it there for months or even years without washing it. That rug accumulates dirt, dampness, and dust, and over time becomes a source of odor. Wash them regularly, or better yet, have two. While one dries, use the other. You can also spray them with a mixture of vinegar and hot water, let it act for a few minutes, and rinse. Vinegar neutralizes odors without leaving a trace. And the floor. That floor where everyone steps without thinking. Clean it frequently, but not just with water and soap. Once a week, wipe it with white vinegar and a few drops of eucalyptus or lemon essential oil. Vinegar disinfects, the oil leaves a natural aroma, and the combination creates fresh air that you notice as soon as you open the door. Another very effective trick: place a small container with baking soda or activated charcoal near the door. It's not visible, but it constantly works, absorbing the moisture from the environment. You can hide it inside a decorative box or a pretty jar with holes. This way you'll keep the entrance air always neutralized. And if you want to go a step further, create a daily ritual. Before going to sleep, check the entrance. Take out the shoes of the day, shake out the rug, wipe the floor with a damp cloth with vinegar. It's barely 2 minutes, but the change is huge. In the morning, when you leave your room and walk toward the door, you'll feel that air that's fresh, light, clean. That first impression also influences your mood. A clean entrance without odor sets the tone for the whole home. Remember that the first smell a person senses upon entering defines their perception of your entire house. If it smells good in the entrance, the brain assumes everything is clean. If it smells bad, even if the rest is spotless, the brain associates it with neglect. That's why taking care of that small space is taking care of your home's invisible reputation. And here's a detail that many overlook: the entrance furniture also absorbs smell. If you have a bench, a shelf, or a wooden coat rack, clean them with vinegar and let them breathe. Sometimes the smell doesn't come from the shoe, but from the piece of furniture that stores it. Don't use aerosols or perfumes in that area, because they only mix smells and make them heavier. Opt for soft natural aromas, like a sprig of lavender or a slice of dried lemon on a small plate. When you manage to keep that area spotless and with a fresh aroma, the difference is felt immediately. The entrance becomes a natural filter. All the air that enters your house passes through there, and if that air is clean, the rest of the house benefits. It's the point where the outside meets your refuge, and that's why it deserves attention. So the next time someone enters your house and says, "How good it smells," it won't be because of luck or because of an expensive air freshener. It will be because you took care of the details. Because you cleaned the invisible, because you understood that smell is not just cleanliness, it's well-being, it's pride, it's the reflection of the love with which you maintain your home. And it all starts there, right at the entrance, where your shoes leave the day's fatigue, and your house begins to smell like peace. The 10th mistake, not having a natural base aroma in the house, is the one that makes the difference between a house that smells good for a while and a house that always smells good. It's the most subtle mistake, but also the most powerful. Because your home smell shouldn't be a coincidence, nor depend on the last aerosol you bought. It should have an identity, an aroma that defines you, that makes you feel peace, cleanliness, and warmth every time you walk in. The problem is that many houses don't have that identity. Each room smells different, or worse yet, each day it smells different. One day like artificial lavender, another like disinfectant, another like frying, another like dampness. That instability generates a sensation of disorder, even if everything is clean. Smell is memory. What you smell remains recorded in the brain longer than what you see. We all remember the smell of our grandmother's house, of freshly washed clothes, of warm bread, or of a clean bathroom after using vinegar. Aroma defines the emotional atmosphere of a place. If your house doesn't have its own smell, it's as if it had no soul. You don't realize it, but that constant change of smells disconnects you. A house with a natural and stable aroma transmits calm, freshness, and harmony. In contrast, a house that mixes artificial aromas generates confusion. The brain perceives disorder, even if everything looks spotless. That's why it's not about your house smelling like perfume. It's about it smelling like a home. Like something clean, warm, and natural. When you use chemical air fresheners, the smell seems strong at first, but in minutes it fades and leaves an artificial trace that doesn't match your home's air. Besides, those products don't eliminate bad smell, they cover it. It's like putting perfume on a dirty garment. That's why the first step to having a natural base aroma is not to add, but to remove. Clean the sources of smell, the drains, the filters, the trash bins, the towels, the cushions. Once the air is clean, then you can create your own aroma, yours, the one that's always present without saturating. And here's the beautiful part, you can do it with things you already have at home. You don't need to spend money. Orange or lemon peels, for example, release a fresh, citrus smell that neutralizes the air. You can put them in little fabric bags and distribute them in drawers, closets, or room corners. If you combine them with cinnamon sticks, you get a warm, homey aroma, perfect for the kitchen or the dining room. If you like something fresher, eucalyptus is ideal. You can hang a few branches in the bathroom or near windows. When the air passes, it releases a natural aroma that recalls deep cleanliness. You can also use dried flowers like lavender or roses. But be careful, not to make them smell strong, but to maintain a soft and constant fragrance. You can mix them with a few drops of natural essential oil, never synthetic, and put them in small open jars. Over time, that smell permeates the environment and becomes part of the house, not something that comes and goes. Another powerful idea is to boil water with citrus peels, cloves, or cinnamon once a week. Let the steam expand and purify the air. It not only smells good, it also eliminates old odors. It's an invisible cleaning of the environment. The aroma that remains is clean, natural, almost imperceptible, but deeply pleasant. What's important is consistency. If you choose a natural base aroma, for example, citrus or cinnamon, repeat it in several places. Don't mix too many. The key is that when someone enters your house, they feel that everything belongs to the same air. That creates harmony. If each space smells different, the brain can't associate a home smell. In contrast, if you repeat the same subtle aroma in different points, your house develops a unique olfactory signature. And here's the detail nobody tells you, the natural base aroma should not be strong, it should be constant. Good smell is not noticed, it's felt. It's that light air that makes you breathe deeper, that freshness you don't know where it comes from, but that gives you peace. If it smells like something, it's already too much. The secret is that it smells clean, not like perfume. Choose a smell that identifies you. If you like freshness, go for lemon, eucalyptus, or mint. If you prefer warmth, cinnamon, vanilla, or clove. If you seek peace, lavender or rosemary. And keep that smell in your house always. Not to impress visitors, but for you. Because when your house naturally smells good, your energy changes. It relaxes you, inspires you, makes you feel you're in a cared-for place. And remember, your home's smell speaks about you, even when you're not there. When someone comes in and says, "It smells so good here," it's not just a compliment. It's a sign that your home transmits balance, cleanliness, and affection. Because a house that smells natural smells like presence, attention, love. And that kind of smell isn't bought, it's created. So stop depending on aerosols, sprays, and electric diffusers. Start building your own natural base aroma. One that accompanies you every day, that makes you feel proud when you breathe deeply and say, "This is what my house smells like." Because a house with an olfactory identity doesn't need a disguise, it simply feels alive. And now, think, how many of these mistakes do you make without realizing it? It's not about feeling guilty, it's about opening your eyes. Because a house's smell doesn't depend on money, nor on the products you use. It depends on your habits. It depends on whether you ventilate, whether you check, whether you care for the details. A house that smells good is a cared-for house, and a cared-for house reflects a woman who loves herself. Look, smell is like your home's calling card. It can be warm, cozy, and clean, or it can be heavy, stuffy, and unpleasant. What you do every day decides which of the two it is. So before buying another air freshener or spending on products, check your routines. Open windows, let the sun in, wash what can't be seen, and above all, eliminate what generates the smell. Because the secret is not in disguising, it's in cleaning the air from the source. And I'm going to tell you something else. When you manage to make your house smell good naturally, your mood changes. You wake up with more energy, you feel the air is clean, and even household chores become more bearable. It's as if the environment hugged you. That's why it's worth doing. Not for aesthetics, but for well-being. So if you've ever thought that your house has a weird smell, or if you've already gotten used to the usual smell, this is the moment to change it. Don't resign yourself. Don't say my house always smells like this, as if it were an inevitable sentence. It isn't. Your house's smell isn't something fixed. It's the reflection of how you care for it, of the details you attend to and those you ignore. There's nothing more powerful than opening the door after a long day, breathing deeply, and feeling pride. Pride because your house smells like you, like cleanliness, like order, like tranquility. Because it doesn't smell like chemical product or confinement, but like care, presence, love. That smell, that air that welcomes you, doesn't come from an air freshener, it comes from you. You build it with your routines, with your consistency, with the way you take care of what no one sees. It's built when you wash a towel on time, when you open the windows every morning, when you don't accumulate what you don't use. Those small gestures, those minutes that seem insignificant, are what form the soul of the home. And that pride is something only understood by someone who has been there. Someone who had a house that smelled like confinement and managed to transform it. Someone who now comes in, breathes, and feels the air is alive, fresh, clean. It's a sensation of well-being that can't be explained, it's felt. It's as if all the weight of the day dissolved upon crossing the door. Because when your house smells good, you feel peace. And when you feel peace, everything else flows better. So don't underestimate the power of a good smell. It's not a detail, it's an energy. It's the way your home embraces you and reminds you that you're in the place where you can truly rest. And that isn't bought in a bottle, it's built with attention, with care, and with habit. Every day, with every small act, you are deciding whether your house will smell like disorder or like a real home.